Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. You're watching Last Page Left, and today I'm going to be doing a speed wrap-up of all the books that I have finished, DNF'd, passed on in April. April has not been good when it comes to reading. It's not been very eventful, so I don't expect this to be a long video, and the whole concept of speed wrap-up means that I tell you a little bit about the book and very shortly about my feelings, and then we move on to the next one. Mainly because I hate doing wrap-ups, so this is just a way for me to get through the video and for you guys to get my thoughts anyway. So as always, I forget to charge my camera, so my battery died. But let's dive into first the books that I DNF'd, unhauled, passed on, because I think we have 4 or 5 of them that I need to talk about. So the first book that I ended up DNFing is also book 2 of a series where I almost rated book 1 4 stars. I enjoyed book 1. I thought it was harmless, shameless entertainment. And then book 2 just ended up going downhill for me. I thought it was so similar to this author's other series or duology that I read, but basically the book that I've ended up DNFing is What Hunts Inside the Shadows. It is book 2 in a Flesh and Bone series by Harper L. Woods. I absolutely adored The Coven and The Cursed, which is the other series by this author. Now this book 2, I did not enjoy it because it seemed so copy-paste to the other series, or the other series was copy-paste to this. So this is mainly just dark romance. I don't even remember what this book was about, to be honest, because it was so not memorable. But basically our main character, Estrella, in the first book, she is marked by a fae and she has a fae mate that is hunting her, and she meets this guy who is also fae marked on the run together away from these fae, and they end up falling in love. And then there's a plot twist, there is more plot twists, and we end up with this book, and yeah, this was a DNF. Then the second DNF that I had was Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky. I think I DNF'd it at around 15% mark. I just did not enjoy the age of the characters. I thought it was a little bit too young for me, or at least I feel like it had quite a slow beginning and I did not care enough to continue. Now this book I DNF'd I think 2 days ago. It's called Mile High by Liz Tomford. Don't get me wrong, the first 50% of this book I was like, okay, this is gonna be a 4 or 4.5 star read. I really enjoyed it. But then the second half of the book, I got up to 73% and I DNF'd it because I just did not enjoy the plot twist. Because every romance book, you get a build up, you get the relationship building, and then things fall apart. And it was so predictable. I wanted it to be something else. I wanted the story to have a twist where I would not see it coming from the beginning 10 pages, okay? It's just that I didn't like how predictable it was. It had potential, but then it went downhill the second half of the book. I really enjoyed the characters, I did, but I thought the dialogue was a little bit juvenile as well and not very developed. Wow, this is a speed wrap-up, and I'm talking too much about these books. So it's about Xanders and Stevie. Xanders is a hockey player with this bad boy image, and Stevie is a flight attendant, and they're not supposed to fall in love or fraternize or anything, but he keeps pressing the call bell and keeps pushing her on his flights, and then they kind of like hit it off, you know, the chemistry is there. And the last DNF that I had was actually, I DNF'd it yesterday. Now it is The Unfinished. This cover makes me want to read this book. Now this book is very horror-y. It is, I wouldn't say graphic yet, but it leans into the atmosphere and into the whole, oh, something's following me, I feel like a presence. It feels like, don't read this book in the dark if you get scared easily. My only problem was the writing style. I just could not get past it. It was very description-y, like full of descriptions, and I don't really know how to explain it. All the sentences felt really long, and like I had to be really paying attention to read this book. A break between sentences would have been nice. Although this book is a fast read, I just couldn't do it. I got 10% into it, or 10 to 15% into it, and I'm fine. I didn't particularly like the main characters either, but admittedly I was only 10% into it, so 10 to 15, and so I didn't really give them a chance. But yeah, I just could not deal with the writing style. But it's fine because my sister is going to love all of these books. I'm going to even give my sister Caught Up and book 3 of this series, and she's gonna love them. Okay, let's move on to the books that I actually finished reading. And when it comes to physical reads, I only finished 3 books. The first book that I read is The Kiss of Deception by Mary E. Pearson. I read this book, this was a reread, and I also have to reread The Heart of Betrayal before I can get to a book that is on, the third book is on my list of to read and unhaul, and I have to reread both of these before I get to that book. And if I don't get to that book by the end of the year, I will have to unhaul it. That's why I'm trying to speed past this series. So The Kiss of Deception follows our main character Leah, who is a princess trapped into an arranged marriage, and basically before she gets married, before her wedding, she runs away, and there is an assassin that gets sent after her, and there's also a prince that chases her. We don't know who is who until the end of the book. Well, technically, I mean, I know who is who. The only thing is, I think you can also tell if you pay attention enough. But the first time I read it, which was years ago, I was like mind blown. And this book is a fun read. It is YA, and the religion in this book, the tales, the prophecies or whatever, are so fantastic. I love it. This is why I wanted to reread this series before I get to book 3. The first time I read it, I rated it 5 stars. This time I read it, it was 3.25 just because I knew what was going to happen. Now, for the fake dating prompt, I finished reading The Paradise Problem by Christina Lauren. I'm going to be the first one to say that I did not love The Unhoneymooners. And I think I read another book by Christina Lauren that I'm not sure how I liked it. But The Paradise Problem, I rated 4.25 stars. It was such a fun read. It's about Anna and this guy West who get married in college, and it's a fake marriage. She needs subsidized housing or something. I don't know why he got married to her. I think it was something to do with his family or inheritance or something. Anyway, there is a clause in their inheritance that they cannot inherit unless they the marriage is real. So if any marriage ends up being fake, all of the grandpa's inheritance will go away to someone else, not just his but his siblings as well. And this is a highly dysfunctional family. They just let their father treat them like crap, and our main character is the only one who stands up for himself, but not even fully. And this girl Anna, she's just caught up in this entire mess, trying to be a fake wife, but it ends up being, it's such a good book. I loved it. Unlike last month, I actually had 5-star reads this month. Mind-blowing, because last month I had what, 19 books read, and I did not have a single 5-star read. I think I just had one 4-star read. My 5-star read of this month was One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. Listen, I saw this book everywhere on TikTok and it was so enjoyable. I picked it up because of TikTok, and TikTok, you didn't steer me wrong, okay? I have to listen to you more often, because now every time I am looking for a romantasy book, I do go on TikTok and I see the descriptions, and I also see how many times a book pops up, because I needed to pop up a few times before I actually start reading it. One Dark Window, this was so unique. Basically, we have our main character Elspeth. There are tarot cards in this world, and each tarot card brings magic, has its own power. And Elspeth, when she touches a tarot card or when she wants to use it, she kind of sucks it in to herself. She gets stuck with the card Nightmare inside. So there is this nightmare creature stuck inside her, and she's trying not to let anyone know, because the reason why she has powers is because she survived a plague, and every person that has the plague gets killed. Even if they don't die by that plague, they get killed because they're not supposed to have powers or something. The king is basically just trying to kill them all. So Elspeth is trying to be quiet, secretive. She's not even supposed to be alive, and now she has magic, and now she has this monster living inside her head. Slowly, the more she asks the monster for help, the more she loses herself. And also she meets this guy and they fall in love, kind of. They start flirting, whatever. It's really good. I rated it 5 stars. It's so unique. The world is so unique. I liked Elspeth as well as a character, and the main guy. 5 stars. Then, of course, it wasn't even on my TBR. See, the reason why I didn't read that many books this month is because I read more books that were not on my TBR. And so I picked up Two Twisted Crowns. It is the sequel to One Dark Window, and I rated it 4.25 stars. It was still as good. I loved the ending. I loved the writing style. I loved the rhymes. I loved the overall poetic, flowery writing, the gothicness of it all. It was really good. Next, I was supposed to read The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King by Carissa Broadbent. This is a sequel to The Serpent and the Wings of Night, and I ended up not reading it at all. I actually picked it up yesterday only, and I'm 6 chapters in. Speaking of that later, but I did, because before picking up this book, there is a prequel, not a prequel, it is a 1.5 novella that I needed to read, and it's called 6 Scorched Roses. There is a curse that is threatening her sister, herself, and her people around her, and everybody is dying. And she's trying to cure that by using a vampire lord's blood. To get his blood, she needs his help. He agrees. And this vampire lord ends up coming into this book, so that's why I needed to read it. And I really enjoyed that book as well. If it was a full-length novel and not just like a novella, I would have rated it probably 5 stars, but I rated 4 stars. It was a bit too short. I wanted a conclusion. I wanted it to be like a full-length novel, but of course we're gonna get more chapters and more glimpses into it, into the characters with the next books, specifically the Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. So I understand, but I wanted it to be longer because it was really good. Book number 6 is Moon Touched. Moon Touched is a vampire book that I bought because I think, who was it? Was it Esme who recommended it to me? And this was like 2 or 3 years ago. I bought it immediately, but I only got to it now because I, weirdly enough, got really into Kindle reading again. Or not Kindle, just Kindle. I got weirdly into ebook reading to the point where I bought a new Kobo because I don't want to support Amazon, but then I realized I still have Kindle books left that I bought that I need to finish. So, and I cannot transfer them from my Kindle to Kobo. So I picked up Moon Touched. I rated 3.75 stars. The main character, Ayla, she is part of Cancer Pack. So this series is called Zodiac Wolves because you have all of these wolf packs that are part of a zodiac. And there is the 13th zodiac sign, who's Ophiuchus or something. I have no idea. I'm gonna butcher it. But the 13th zodiac sign, they are a pack and they were outcasted because of rumors and war and whatever. They make an appearance at this, not festival necessarily, but once a year, all of the unmated wolves and all the packs come to a gathering. They basically have this ceremony where like each unmated female will come up and they will magically find their mate. So when our main character, who is half human and outcasted by even her father, so she doesn't have a mark that she's from the Cancer Pack, when she comes up, the magic chooses that her mate is from an enemy pack because her dad and her mate's dad, like the alphas, need to come and shake on the deal. The Scorpio, her mate's pack, alpha refuses to accept her and kills her dad, and so our main character runs away and ends up being captured by the 13th pack. She gets kidnapped and then tested, and it's fun. It's a fun read. Don't expect too much. I rated 3.75 stars, but I will not continue. I am fine with it being one book kind of thing, standalone, because I did read what was going to happen in the second book and I have no interest in that. Okay, then I picked up another book. Book 7 that I read this month was also a TikTok read. I read The Crown of Oaths and Curses by Jay Bree. This was another 5-star read. Thank you, TikTok. I'm just gonna say that. Book 1 was so fantastic. The writing, the main character, the world, it was so intricate and so like if book 2 followed all the potential that book 1 offered, book 2 was gonna be 5 out of 5 as well. The writing style, I also read it in tandem with the audiobook, so it was fantastic following the ebook and the audiobook together. Wow, wow. We follow our main character, Roxbane Evening Star, and she is the last witch of her coven, so she is the mother of the coven, and the fates chose a prince to be her mate, but this prince kills her kind because her kind, like not her specifically, but there are others, turned bad, turned evil because of this one guy. And so there's a war between witches and the Fae, which this prince is, and she is the only one, like the land is dying and she is the only one who sees it because the Fae no longer nurture the land, and so it falls on her to bring them to life, like because they're gonna starve to death. The supplies are dwindling, food is dwindling, the land is no longer growing plants, nothing. So as the witch, she is the only one now who knows how to keep things alive. Obviously, because she's a witch and the Fae are so terribly scared of her, she is always under suspicion. She gets treated so poorly, so gets thrown into a dungeon, keeps like being treated like a prisoner, and the prince is so stupid and so blind by his rage. I feel like it's so true to the real world, like blinded by rage, blinded by hatred, blinded by just preconceived notions of what someone is gonna be like, and not stepping away from that. I feel like it's so true to what's been happening in the world, and it's also annoying, but I loved it. I loved the main character. I loved also some of the side characters, and overall the magic, everything. Like, I really enjoyed this book. This is my favorite book of the month. I really enjoyed it. And then I also read The Scepter, which I gave 3 stars. The Scepter is basically a prequel, and you also have a prequel called The Sword. And I started reading The Sword, but I didn't care enough, so I didn't finish it. And I don't have any plans to finish it. I rated The Scepter 3 stars. And now I'm reading The Throne of Honor and Blood. Honestly, I'm reading it now. I don't want to spoil anything, but I'm not enjoying it because oh my god. Okay, I'm reading it now, and so many things could have been left out. Book 1 really set up the series for success, but book 2, the writing style is so bad, and I'm not sure if I didn't notice it in the book 1, but this book, it's just so hard to get through. I am 18% in, and I'm just skipping through half of this because it's just regurgitated information over and over. Or we think we're gonna get information, so like our main character is gonna ask, oh, what do you think your uncle's gonna do? And the prince is just gonna be like, oh, I think he's gonna do something real bad. Dude, no shit. Like, thank you, Captain Obvious. That's what we already know. Don't create this dialogue if you don't want to give us meaningful information, or at least deceptive information or something, but don't give us useless information. I am struggling with book 2, but book 1 was amazing and I loved it. It was one of my top favorite books. If book 2 wasn't so disappointing, I would say this was one of my top favorite series, with Fourth Wing and A Court of Thorns and Roses. Now, let me just tell you that The Crown of Oaths and Curses is not really romantic-y. It should be, but it's not there. I mean, there's no spice in book 1. In book 2, currently no spice, but the main character, the guy, the prince, is acting like a mate, like a jealous, possessive type of guy. But our main character, the female one, doesn't want him, so it's still plenty of chase to go around, you know. And now finally, I wanted to discuss the books that I'm rolling over from April into May. There are 2 books that I did not get to read in April. One of them is The Dream Maker by Kira Nixon, and the other one is The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King. Now, I've already started reading The Ashes and the Star-Cursed King, so I'm going to be rolling this one into April, and because it's a bigger book, I'm fine with that. And this one I'm just gonna leave for another time. It's quite a short book. It has almost like 400 pages, but the font is really big. So, and it's a floppy copy. Floppy copy. I love it. A floppy edition, and so I have no doubt that I will be reading it sometime soon anyway. But yeah, I'm going to be putting it back on my TBR shelf, and the only book I'm rolling into May is this one. And that's it. I know that this was supposed to be a speed wrap up, but honestly, I've been feeling in a bit of a yappy mood, so you're welcome, I guess. If you want, again, more updates, live updates on my reading, you can check out my Instagram, The Last Page Left, and enjoy, I guess, the chaos. Also, oftentimes you can vote on there for the books that I'm going to be reading next. There is a video series coming out quite soon, episode 1, which only on Instagram people voted for those books. So if you want to see what I'm going to be reading, or if you want to have a say, follow and vote. Thank you guys, and have a lovely day. Bye.